What's up, guys? Mason the Brock Henderson here, and this is The Flash, Season 4, Episode 10, Trial of the Flash. So, finally back with The Flash, and I'm super excited because, yeah, this has been a long time coming. I hate the fact that I had to go through Supergirl just to get to this, but I think it's going to be worth it because, frankly, it's started off very well so far. Obviously, this is where it was always going to start with Barry on trial for the murder of Clifford DeVoe. And pretty much all it played out kind of how I expected it to, just based on what I saw from the previews. I kind of expected it to go this way. So I will say, I wanted a bit more surprise out of this. There's nothing shocking in this episode. Everything was pretty much expected. He had a chance to tell everyone he was the Flash, but he didn't because, of course, he's not going to. The team thinks they found some sort of loophole, but of course, DeVoe and his wife had a way around it, and they find the picture of her kissing Clifford and Dominic's body. So, yeah, I knew they were going to find a way around that. She has a plan up her sleeve to sort of get around it, and ultimately Barry decides he's not going to say he's the Flash, and of course he's going to end up in prison because it's like his father. I will say that little note on the wall, Henry Allen was here, that was a little too much. It's probably the only thing in this episode I'm just like, okay, come on. Because, I don't know, I get the comparisons, I get the, not the comparison, what's the word I'm looking for? The parallel, of course. The parallel of it, I understand all of that. So to have that written on the wall is just kind of like slapping me in the face with it, like, you're too stupid to understand parallels. So that was the only thing that I'm just kind of like, that was stupid. But the rest of it was really, really well done. It's just, like I said, there were no real surprises. Outside of the trial, they're trying to stop a metahuman who apparently is just radiation, just glowing radiation. Don't really understand what his purpose was there. It kind of felt like he just sort of appeared out of nowhere. Don't know if he was one of the metas on the bus or if he's just some guy that ended up with radiation poisoning and then somehow his body absorbed it to the point where he was emitting it. I don't know. It felt like a random meta they threw in because they need a meta to stop in this episode. I will say it did set up a nice another kind of parallel showing the judge talking about Barry, how he's uncaring, unmoved, I can't believe he would do something like this, to Captain Singh praising the Flash and how he's a hero and what he did to stop the meta that nearly destroyed the city. I did like that. That was pretty well done. But yeah, the meta felt like he didn't really have much of a purpose in this episode. So that was another little problem, but not too much of a problem. But yeah, I mean, all this stuff, the emotions involved are really well done. The fact that they didn't just find some easy way out, that's very well done because some other shows, Supergirl, find some easy way out of some very difficult problems to talk about. And so the fact that they actually dealt with it, there's no good choice here. He either tells everyone he's the Flash or he has to go to prison for the rest of his life. That's a difficult choice. One is nearly impossible because it puts everybody that you know in danger. And the other one, I mean, you're in prison for the rest of your life. Yeah, you're a superhero, but it's not like you can just break out. I also liked what they did with Joe. He thinks about planting evidence inside of Marlisa's house, some carpet fibers from Barry's apartment to sort of frame her for it. And of course, who does he bring along but Ralph, who actually was convicted at one point for planting evidence, and somebody who he knew was guilty. But he sort of says, yeah, so after this you'll probably feel all high and mighty, feel like you did something good, be able to puff out your chest, and when they catch you, and they will. And he just goes through everything that most likely happened to him after he planted evidence and was found guilty of it, and just tells him his life story. And honestly, it makes him a more interesting character, and that is one of the only problems I've had with The Flash this season, is Ralph hasn't really been that interesting of a character. He's not been given a backstory. He's not been given some sort of redeeming quality. He just seems like this cocky, arrogant prick, and that's it. There's nothing else about him. So to see him get vulnerable for a moment and sort of help Joe realize the error of his ways by showing him, hey, I did the same thing. Look what happened to me. Do you really want to end up like me? I don't know. I like that. I thought they did a very good job showing those two together and sort of drawing connections between what Joe's about to do compared to what Ralph did. I don't know, it was pretty obvious, but I still like the fact that we did get to see a bit more of Ralph in this one and show a deeper side to him. Aside from that, everything else pretty much I've already talked about. The trial plays out exactly how you expect. The stuff with the metahuman plays out exactly how you'd expect. They have to find some way to stop him. Eventually, he explodes radiation, and Cisco has to vibe it to another Earth while Barry keeps it contained in like a little flash tornado. But I kind of wondered if maybe the radiation burns on his skin might affect something. Maybe he goes in the courthouse with some radiation poisoning, somebody sees it, it's like, hey, the Flash just stopped the radiation, but apparently they just waited for it to heal, and that was all. But yeah, I mean, it's a good episode. I will say I wanted some more surprises, but for what I got, I was happy with it, and the only real problem I had with it was, the metahuman wasn't as interesting as it could have been, but it was still interesting enough. And then on top of that, the parallel at the end that they kind of forced into your face and sort of had to make it very obvious for anybody that they thought wouldn't understand. I felt like that wasn't really needed, but I'm happy to be back into it. I'm excited to see where it's going to go from here, just because it feels like they have a lot of options they could go to. There is a little scene with Barry talking to Dominic, Clifford and Dominic's body at the end of it. I've got to decide if I want to call him Clifford because technically he is Clifford DeVoe, or if I want to call him Dominic because he's in Dominic's body. I'm probably going to go with Clifford just because it's easier to think of him as Clifford DeVoe. But yeah, he's talking with him at the end, and he does reveal, hey, I've got Dominic's powers to read people's minds, as well as keeping everything about me the same. So there's a nice little conversation there that sort of builds more tension between the two. Barry is saying, it doesn't matter whose face you're wearing after I figured this out, I'm coming after you. And he's like, you haven't beaten us yet. And Clifford just kind of looks at him and is like, haven't I? And just that little haven't I, it just makes me feel like he's already planned for everything Barry's got planned. And so I really do wonder, how are the team going to stop him this season? Because it doesn't feel like anything they do is any different. It doesn't feel like anything they do is outside of his plan. Last season with Savitar, where it felt like he knew all of their plans and eventually found out it was future Barry, and that's the reason he knew everything, is because Barry knew everything. I realized, okay, well, that means somebody has to do something without Barry knowing, so that way, Savitar can't find it out. And that makes sense. With DeVoe, though, it feels like he's planned for all these different possible outcomes. And at first it seemed like, well, maybe he'll just die off, and at that point, then Flash can stop him. But now he's got a younger body, he's still got all of his intellect, now he has mind-reading powers, and he's not going to die anytime soon. I don't know how the team are going to stop him. It feels like he's just unbeatable. And so either they're going to have to do something that nobody can predict, or there is one path where they do stop him, and they're going to start heading down that path by chance, maybe. Or maybe they're going to find somebody that has the same ability as DeVoe, the ability to see several possible outcomes and find that one outcome where they end up beating him. And maybe we'll see DeVoe seeing them taking this path, and it's like, how are they doing this? And I don't know. I'm curious to see how they're going to stop him. But for right now, Barry in prison, I'm curious to see what they're going to do with this. Is Barry going to break out of prison every night to go stop bad guys, or is he just going to hang out in prison while the rest of the team is doing stuff and maybe coming to him for advice? I don't know. I think it would be kind of funny to see him flash, vibrate through walls and then go out and stop the bad guy and then come back in by the end of the night. And all the prison guards are like, where's Alan? And then he just shows up. I was sleeping all day. I don't know. I'm really interested to see what's going to happen, but yeah, that's it for me. So let me know what you guys think down in the comment section below. What were your thoughts on this episode? Let me know. We can talk about and discuss all that good stuff. Leave a like and subscribe for future Flash episodes. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out.